This is the GPL podcast from GopherPuckLive.com. This podcast is sponsored by Jerry Peters and First Class Mortgage. Our expertise, your peace of mind. Visit us at firstclassmortgage.com. Now let's start the show with your hosts, Jupiter and Vigo. Good evening and welcome to the GPL podcast, episode number 201. Well, Vigs, it happened again. Another lovely Friday night, but this one started off much better. They were playing really well. Played pretty solid first period. It was up 1-0. 2 late goals by Myers. It's 3-0. Everything's looking great. And then everything wasn't looking great.
You know, I don't feel like energy has been the issue so far for the Gophers. Like, I feel like when they come to start the series, you know, the energy is at least there. But the brains on Friday night, whether they're at home or on the road, the brains are not fully operational. And, you know, those are some of the problems that are holding this team and this program back from hitting some of the expectations that people are putting out there for them. And you can tell it's kind of getting to the coach just a little bit.
Well, you mentioned you were commenting on some of his comments this week, just a little while ago, saying, you know, you can only kind of throw the garbage can so many times a season.
You can only kick the garbage can.
Kick the garbage can. There you go.
3 times a year. If anybody's a big fan of Letterkenny, their coach has some epic garbage can kicks. Just for people if they're getting a little bored on a Thursday night, waiting for hockey weekend to come around, kick the can, Letterkenny.
Yeah. Well, what can you do? Hey, if anyone is watching live on Twitter, Facebook, or the YouTube channel, throw us some questions. We're taking questions tonight. It's kind of an open session since we do not have a guest. I was kind of actually looking forward to not having a guest, Vigs, just because it's kind of nice to sit back and just relax for a little while.
Just a little therapy session.
Kind of, yeah. And I think we need it.
Gopher Nation, yeah.
I'm done picking sweeps until this team can prove to me they can win on a Friday night. Yeah,
I mean, the issues for this team are pretty consistent in making mental mistakes throughout the game. You know, the big ones for me right now are forwards who are missing the net. Basically creating a turnover, feeding the other team's offense. The other different one is forwards leaving the zone too early, trying to get on offense, stretching out, maybe leaving their defenseman and their goaltender defenseless. Number 3.
Even I noticed that, Vigs. I'm not a great hockey mind by league, but I kept watching it last week, even though they won that Saturday night. I still saw it happening. Like, I bet you Vigs notices that, because if I notice it, you notice it.
That's one of the easy ones to spot. They stretch out and it's like, oh, nobody's open. You can't get the puck through there. It's really frustrating. 3, taking bad penalties in the offensive zone. We've seen this happen to number 9 way too frequently. And when that happens, you start killing penalties right from the start. Your ice time gets all messed up, and they count on Walker to kill penalties with McLaughlin too. So, you're starting to mess up your pairs there. We saw Hughlin get an opportunity to kill some penalties. Mm-hmm. So those are the first 3. Maybe we'll take a little pause here a little bit. You can reflect on those, and we'll get back to the other ones later.
Maybe it's time to let Jack sit and watch the game. We know how well that would go over with Motzko. Our friend Jess Myers keeps kind of prodding Coach Motzko after the game, and this week it was like when he kind of mentioned that it's the dumbest question he's ever heard.
Yeah, that was Bob's initial reaction to the question on Friday night, and then on Saturday, Jack came back, saw a little less work, got the shutout, and so at availability on Tuesday, Bob's like, and we got this guy over here telling me to bench the guy. Put him back out there. What does he do? He gets a shutout. So I don't know when Gopher Puck Live YouTube is going to be posting that availability. But that's basically Bob talking to me and pointing at Jess about the question. So
I'm collecting Jess Meyer's Motzko reactions. We got the "Are you crazy?" from a couple of years ago. We got dumbest question, and maybe we'll add that one to the pile. I hadn't had a chance to look at the availability today, but maybe tomorrow morning I'll put it all together if it's available for us to put together. So,
well, they do say that college hockey has one of the longest seasons of all sports. I think Jess and Bob might be looking forward to winter break, which is just 6 games away. 6 games away, and we get a little winter break for these two.
Oh, boy. So, Steve Larson, Jack is not going to sit.
Yeah, I think unless Jack gets an injury like he almost did the other night, which was kind of a scary moment, or Madison, if he gets sick or something, that's probably the only way Jack's going to sit. For this team to get to the heights that it wants to reach, Jack needs to find his game. And I think the only way he's going to find it is by playing. I don't know if it helps this team to put in Brennan Boynton, who's basically had 4 practices all season because of a myriad of issues affecting him. Justin Close, nice guy, did a nice job when he stepped in, but I don't think a guy like that is ready to see 40 shots.
No.
Typically goalies, you can look good for a little bit, but when you start seeing 40 shots, any little deficiency, they start to slip through.
Yeah.
And it's probably not a good plan.
Quite honestly, Viggs, we're not going to see either of those 2 goalies unless, let's say, they give up 5 at Michigan and they just pull a goalie during the game. Otherwise, realistically, we're not going to see either of those 2 play until the exhibition against Team USA.
Yeah.
Under 18.
And the workload for a college goalie, saying that maybe they need a break. If anything, it would be a mental break, and that's going to come over winter break here. And he can, reset his mind a little bit, because I don't think we're seeing a lot of physical issues or technique issues with Jack. We're just seeing him not be sharp like we're used to seeing.
And some of that just, I'd say sitting him's not going to help in that way. He got a shutout Saturday night. Didn't have a lot of work. And the positive thing besides, him getting the shutout Saturday night is that the team did come back and played solid. Could have done better, hitting the goal a little bit better, but team defense played really great in front of him. Much smarter play by the team.
Yeah, you didn't see the turnovers, a lot of odd man rushes. You didn't see dangerous plays at the blue lines.
Breakaways.
If we get into it, some of the other things that this team needs to do, be smart around the blue lines. Both breaking the puck out. We saw on Friday night, Ryan Johnson tried to do a 360 right into pressure, turn it over, rush going the other way. A shot from distance. It was a nice shot, but it was from distance that found the net. That was troubling. And then you also have your defensemen at the offensive blue line who are sometimes trying to do too much, walking the puck around, getting into trouble, creating rushes the other way as well. So, those are probably a couple more problems that are recurring with this team. Bob says this team's going to be its best when they play patient. And that's what they did on Saturday. And looked at the goals they got from Sorensen and Nyes on Saturday. Two very skillful plays.
Yeah, nice. Wow. Wow. I hate to see it if he really finds his game, because wow.
Yeah, I think he has been the biggest surprise maybe in college hockey this year. He's just gone up and up and up, after struggling a little bit with Tri-City in the USHL, maybe going through that growing pain that hockey players need to go through sometimes, where they get into a series of games where they don't find the net. They're not on the score sheet, and just keep working and grinding your way through it. Good things will happen. He had a great World Junior summer camp, looking like he'll be going to Edmonton for the World Juniors this year and make a huge impact for the Gophers.
Our boy Mote, another player, seems to be surprisingly struggling, Jackson Mccomb.
Well, other teams know who he is now, and they know what things can get him into trouble. I thought one thing we noticed with Ohio State this weekend, I thought they really scouted Minnesota really, really well, and they were giving Minnesota some fits in the special teams, and I thought they were taking things away. Another team that did that was UMD and St. Cloud State. They really knew how to pressure the Gopher defenseman right from the start. And, it's a growing pain for those guys to go through, being targeted. And they just have to be smarter, playing honest hockey. That just means not forcing the play when you don't have to.
Viggs, I know a big thing for you over the years is entrance into the offensive zone, not losing the puck at the blue line, making a smart play. If they're stopping you, maybe dump and chase, things like that. How's the team doing in that department?
It hasn't been as bad as it's been in the past couple of years where you're just seeing players be reckless on entries. You see a couple times once they gain the zone, they maybe expose the puck a little bit too easily, trying to create something that's not there. Or the worst thing this year is just shooting the puck either into a non-dangerous area, up right at the goalie's gloves, or missing the net and sending it the other way. Those have been kind of the issues on entries that I've noticed this year more than anything. Minnesota has enough skill, especially at home, to spread out the blue line and create gaps for a fourth player to come through and possess the puck so they can get their offense going. But the problem is, once you cross that blue line, if you shoot and miss, your possession's over. And that's what's happening right now more than anything. I think they need to be more patient with, once they do get in the zone, working the puck around. I think we saw that on the Sorensen goal Saturday night. Nyes made a nice shot block in his own end. The Gophers got in transition, and they didn't just waste it by throwing the puck around or whatever. They got into their ground game below the dots, and they made some plays, and then Sorensen, got a puck on net and scored.
It's frustrating.
Well, it is frustrating. It's frustrating. It's a complex game.
Yeah, it definitely is. I'm just, you see the way they started Friday night, and then it just fell apart, lost confidence. Jack was not great Friday night.
Nope.
It didn't help. There's some things he could have had. A couple of pucks were upper corner. They weren't terrible shots. But as we've always said in the past, sometimes you just need the goalie to make a save. Sometimes you just need him to make that save because it could be the difference in the game. And we're just seeing less of that this year. That's, I think, where people are frustrated.
Yeah, I think you are seeing less of it. The problem is on some of those is that the defense needs to know that their goalie isn't on his A game. And they got to play better gaps so that players aren't able to seam the puck across the ice and force Jack to have to find his way across the crease and keep his angle and get square. Give him some easy shots where the puck is just going to stay down one side of the rink so Jack can commit to a shooter and just know that shot's coming because that player doesn't have any other thing to do. Mm-hmm. It's when the puck is moving across the ice where Jack's got to slide across and get set again, you're going to get into trouble. Mm-hmm. And I think the team can help him out a little bit because he was there for them a lot last year when they got off to their good start.
If you're watching us live on Twitter, just use the hashtag GPL podcast. We'll see your question. We'll try to get it on the air and talk about it. Obviously, if you're watching on Facebook or on YouTube, we can see your questions coming through, and we'll get them up as we can. I noticed one came in right before we went on the air on Twitter. I just put it in the question mark here. Ryan Davis, with Middlestead, Thomas, and Chelsea. Chelsea. All signing national letters of intent. Is it safe to say Faber, Johnson, and Mccomb are gone up this year? Or where do we go with that? I mean, we've talked about recently there are no freshmen back there. You got to keep the line coming. This year there wasn't, but obviously, some of these guys might not be around.
Yeah, I mean they're definitely going to be losing Brinkman. He's going to age out. I don't see any way that Bob is going to be trying to extend fifth years to guys like that. So I think they're going to have to replace one there. And they're short this year,
They are. They didn't go 10 like they did previous years.
Yeah, usually you'd like to have a few more defensemen than they currently have on the roster. Like on Monday, they only had 4D for practice. And And so that makes even practicing kind of challenging. And Bob mentioned it this week. He's like, we've been so banged up. I think our conditioning level as a team is going down a little bit, because the way Bob is kind of operating some of these things is they're almost doing like half ice zone work where there's just one defenseman going at a time, because they don't have enough numbers to really do full ice type stuff. And they have things that they want to work on in zone with the guys that they can practice with. So it gets to be a little bit of a challenge for them to figure that out. So I think those three are going to come in. I was a little surprised. I think that Cal Thomas was one of the guys that signed his NLI, but when you sign that letter, it means that the school has offered you a spot for that next fall. Mm-hmm. There's always a situation where a player could defer their enrollment and say, I just want to get everybody else out of my ear and commit to a school. Like Mason Evers did that. I think he signed his letter a year early and then played a year of juniors and then came that next fall. So that happens from time to time, but I wouldn't read too much into it that all three of those guys are gone, because heck, Johnson and Faber got broken up on Friday night. Those are probably their top two defensemen, and even they were struggling.
And we talked about it at the beginning of the season, too, when we kind of learned that they only have 8 defensemen compared to 8 or 10 they've had previous years. Could be a little thin. And, we're finding out that it is a little thin. We've had some guys out. And, that's hockey. Injuries happen. So I'm kind of with you on that, Viggs. They need to bump it up to 10 next year if they can.
If they can make the scholarship stuff work, I do kind of wonder, John Middlestat hasn't signed yet. You kind of wonder what's going on there, because I think he's going to age out of USHL eligibility next year. I think he's going to be 21 next fall by the time the puck drops in the season. So I don't think he's eligible to play USHL hockey for the full year. So maybe they'll have to figure something out there.
This is probably Tom's or somebody. Go for Paul live. Have your expectations for this team changed? They haven't for you
first. How about
they have not changed for me. I expect this team to. This is a Frozen 4 team. They have got that kind of skill. I will be disappointed if they don't get there, and if Moscow can't get the team to get to that point. Even at the beginning of the season, Moscow goes, "We have a good team." Okay, prove it. Mm-hmm. Show us. And so far we've seen some pieces of it, but they're just not very consistent. They need to get it up. They need to get it going.
I'm right with you. I think the expectations for this team with the talent they have coming back, this is a team that should get a number 1 seed. And I think if they can play well in this next 6-game stretch, that's still something they can achieve. But if they drop, 2 games to Nodak here in those flashy new white jerseys that they unveiled today,
we'll get into that later.
If they don't do well against Michigan this year, then, they're fighting to get, even a bid if they start dropping games like that. But the expectation for me is a 1 seed and get out of the regional and get to the Frozen 4 again. This is how you build your roster for a season like this.
Yep.
And there's going to be a lot more uncertainties next year with the roster. So they got to take advantage of it this year.
They definitely do. Well, we're going to get more into that in a second, but first we need to hear from our sponsor.
Hey, fellow GPLers. Jerry Peters here from First Class Mortgage. Have you refinanced your home in the last 12 months? If you haven't, chances are you should. Record low interest rates and skyrocketing home values make this the perfect time to remove monthly PMI while improving your interest rate at the same time. You can also use the equity in your home to finance those home improvement projects. Or you can consolidate high interest rate credit cards into one new low monthly payment. To hear more, call or text me today at 612-940-3291. You can email me at jerry@firstclasscorp.com. Or you could go to firstclassmortgage.com to fill out a free online application. Mention the GPL podcast and receive a $300 closing cost credit. Some restrictions do apply. First Class Mortgage's NMLS number is 322842, mine is 480200. This is not an agreement to lock into an interest rate under Minnesota law. First Class Mortgage is an equal housing lender.
Well, Viggs, our next week guest, Mr. Brad Schlossman, tweeting out some fine-looking North Dakota jerseys today. Well, they're fine for them. I don't really care. But here we go. Already for sale at the Ralph store. Those brand new Nodak jerseys. People are saying, "Oh, who cares if they're good?" It's not about what the jerseys look like. It's about them having their shit together, Viggs. They have a brand new jersey just released today, and it's already for sale. I go to the official university website that is a store connected right to their fanatics. There are 0 jerseys for sale. There are 0 basketball jerseys. There's no baseball. Only thing are a couple football jerseys. What the hell is going on with Minnesota? How come they cannot keep up with North Dakota and a lot of other local schools when it comes to jerseys?
I think you know the answer to this. There isn't someone at the university who has enough authority who cares.
Yep.
If
Exactly.
someone in Mark Coyle's department cared enough to make this stuff happen, you would see it out there. But
I tweet about this stuff to try to make people aware, get people talking, because if you get more people talking, you get more people talking to the U, there will be pressure eventually. But if people don't talk about it, it just slowly gets nobody cares. The fact I couldn't find a basketball jersey on their own site. How does that happen?
It certainly is a weird phenomenon. Like, you watch hockey games in Canada, I bet about half the people in the building are wearing a jersey. You watch a North Dakota game.
Oh, yes.
I bet probably 3/4 of their fans can wear jerseys, especially like when they go do their road trip in Nashville. Like, those fans want to wear hockey jerseys. You look at Mariucci, you see some of the diehards who've got the custom stuff from Vintage.
Yep.
But
Former sponsor, but we will keep pushing their stuff forever because it's great stuff.
It is great stuff. You'll see those around, but you don't see a ton of kind of the standard, bookstore type jersey that you could find. And I think part of it's because the quality that they do put out doesn't match what the Wild put out, what North Dakota puts out, what the other NHL teams are putting out there. And I think if they put in some small effort, you would see a response.
And the thing is, we know, Viggs, it's not the hockey team. It's not the marketing team behind hockey. It's the people above that make these kind of decisions. And, we know that the school is struggling with finances and things like this. We know a lot of people have left. I don't even know if they have a marketing person right now.
I don't think they do, actually.
For hockey.
Yeah.
So that's bad enough. That's just the sign of the times, people moving on and people covering other people's jobs and whatnot. But, I just see the fact that, North Dakota puts out a jersey today, shows it off, and it's for sale right now. Minnesota is embarrassing when it comes to this. I'm sorry. They're just embarrassing.
I will defend the U on a lot of things. This is not one of them because it's obvious they don't care. So, and
it's not the hockey people really care.
Gosh,
they care.
If the hockey people could do this on their own, they would take care of it. But
they're embarrassed themselves. They hate it. They're so handcuffed they can't do a thing.
There's a little bit of red tape and bureaucracy at the U. I'm very familiar with it.
And, I'm going to keep pointing it out on Twitter or wherever I have to. And
until Pat Micheletti comes up and threatens you at Mariucci.
I think we should maybe get Pat involved. Maybe Pat they listen to Pat. Well, here we go. Mote, they should just hire you, Vigs. Not your expertise, though, is it?
Not really my expertise. I feel like I know a lot about hockey, but I'm not sure about merchandising quite yet.
And and it's just sad they don't have somebody there to listen, Vigs. We know for a fact they could just get a ton of extra authentics each year, or when they do their jersey, or get a ton of extra. They could mark them up. I want to say authentics base, probably 160 to 200.
Yep.
They could sell them for 300. Gone. People,
I don't know if they'd be gone, but
they could sell them, and that's a nice profit.
Yes, I think they could sell them pretty handily. I know they've done it once before, and they were gone like the first weekend.
Yeah, somebody within the marketing team was able to, when the last year of the WCHA, the Gophers got new jerseys. So when they put in their order for the 3 versions of the jerseys that season, it was the white Gophers across, road, and home. They ordered 30 extra jerseys. 10 home, 10 road, and 10 of the home alternates. I was fortunate to get one of those. It's got the WCHA patch on it. It actually has a fight strap on it. Doesn't have any lettering or anything else, but you know what? It's a beautiful jersey, Vigs. I cherish it. I put it up back here sometimes. That's the old practice jersey we got back there right now, but I put it back here sometimes. Just getting a decent replica, Vigs. We've seen a lot of painful years in that one. You've seen a replica, and it's got an M that is just not the university M.
It's not quite right, yeah.
It's been bad. But there's fans out there who would buy authentics. There are fans out there who would buy the close replicas. I've got quite a few replicas that look great that have been done over the years.
If they're done well,
Yeah.
So
it just seems like they're really missing. You talk about making money. This is a good opportunity. And like I said, I couldn't go get a basketball jersey if I wanted to right now.
Heck,
I would love to have a baseball jersey. Those things are nice.
And if it's the mechanics of trying to figure out how many to get, offer them to your season ticket holders somehow. Offer some sort of discounted, almost at cost type jersey for a season ticket holder to buy, and that gets you started on however big an order you have to make this happen.
We need to find out who's in charge here. Do we need to go right to Coyle?
Well, we got to go right to Tom McGinnis, probably. Tom McGinnis is the assistant AD in charge of hockey. He's the one who's responsible for a lot of these kinds of things. So if you see him around the rink, you can always bring up jerseys to him, and he's the right person.
Tom McGinnis' phone number is.
It'll be posted on Gopher Puck Live later. So visit the website. I'm sure there'll be a thread
by me.
At some point.
I will not be doing that, folks.
It is public out there. So
people can find it.
They did outsource a lot of their stuff to Fanatics this last year, and it was kind of a late deal that just happened before the football season started. So I think maybe that could explain some of this stuff. We had a discussion with Bob this week about supply chain issues, and the U ordered all their sticks, all their skates, all their equipment stuff right away at the start of the season, just so they wouldn't get mid-year and try to order stuff and not be able to get it. So they planned ahead on that, but Fanatics may not have planned ahead on Gopher hockey jerseys.
It's just it's kind of like the attendance thing. We're going to keep coming back to it, Vigs. At least, the jersey thing has been a problem for longer than the attendance thing.
Yes.
At least in my eyes, because we have seen some really bad replicas over the years. And Tim Hapke, I think this is Hapke. The story of Mary G is horrible. And they talk about the store at the Ralph is just amazing.
It's like the Wild Hockey Log store at the Ralph. They care. North Dakota knows that their money is made at hockey games, and they invest all their marketing talents into that sport.
I used to go when I'd go on North Dakota trips. or North Dakota trips or to Duluth or wherever it may be, I would go get an official game puck from every arena I'd give it to my daughter. She's got like the Mankato, she's got North Dakota, she's got Duluth, St. Cloud. That's all because their store is all you could buy an official game puck. Not at Minnesota. Got all these nice little artsy fartsy ones that aren't game pucks, but it's the simple little things like that, Vigs, that I think that are frustrating. The game pucks I had back here were all earned. Took one in the face last week. Should have kept that game puck, maybe.
Should have kept
but I
one.
Didn't. I thought about it, but I was actually stunned. I was kind of stunned when it hit me because it came. Pitlick had lifted the puck into the zone. He was on the red line. It came up way at an angle. I'm right on the side of the glass. I'm sitting there ready to looking at something. All of a sudden, wham! Right in my face. Felt great. And I was kind of stunned for a second. I'm like, look at it. It literally dropped into me. The ref looks at me. He's on the other side of the glass. Kind of look at me. You okay? Here you go. I just gave it to him through the hole. I'm like, it's not a big deal.
We got to have a holiday giveaway this year. Well, I'm going to acquire some sort of item, and for our holiday show coming up here in December, I will have a giveaway item for a good
our December 1st show.
Maybe our December 1st show.
Yeah, we're going to have Jack Ramsey on that week. That's going to be fun.
Yeah, we won't give away a Reese's peanut butter cup pie, but we will have something Gopher themed to give away, and I'll ship it to somebody who makes a nice little comment.
There you go.
Comment of the night.
Oh yeah, let's bring back the old Casey Hankinson jersey.
Please don't. Please don't. My eyes can't take that. Dazzle fabric was such a 90s phenomenon. It's like just
North Dakota loved it.
Just because you can make it doesn't mean you should.
Hey, that great 2007 Final Five final. Gophers in Dazzle Gold, North Dakota in Dazzle Green. My photos look great. I loved that contrast, but yeah.
I thought we were going to get a color game this year in Wisconsin. When Wisconsin did their red out, I thought the Gophers, because they wore their gold breezers for that game, I thought they were going to wear their gold Gopher jerseys. So we could have gold on red. If someone was in charge of marketing, they might have figured that out, and they might have sold the gold jerseys or something,
I was shocked a couple of years ago when somebody actually came up with the idea of auctioning off the Wooger jerseys.
Mm-hmm.
You see that at every school all the time, and it's like it took the Gophers 15 years to figure that out.
Well, they had to have an extra set of jerseys, too. I know the U is a little tight on ordering new jerseys for the hockey program.
The men's.
So, the men's. It's difficult. It's challenging.
I know. It shouldn't be.
Let's get back to hockey.
Oh, yes.
I can talk about attendance and merchandise and marketing and ticket prices and TV and radio and the Star Tribune only covering Friday games, not Saturday games. But maybe that's the key. Maybe that's the key this year is that the players are upset about the Star Tribune covering Friday night games, so they don't play well. And then the Star Tribune isn't there on Saturday and they can focus. Maybe that's it.
Nobody was there except for Jess Myers and myself and the Daily on Friday. And the Daily kids were so raw, they didn't ask any questions. When Mosk was there, it would just ask every question. He's like, "Thanks, guys."
Well, I was in a little bit of a quarantine situation. My son had a close contact that ended up not being a close contact, but I thought I should just stay away for the weekend, get a COVID test to make sure that I wasn't gonna get the team with an outbreak from me. That would not go over well.
Any updates on injuries, Vigs, from Gopher Paul Alive again?
Gopher Paul Live, you are a fanatic fan. Cruz Lucius should be back, or Chaz Lucius, I mean. I was just thinking about recruiting as well. Yep. We'll talk about that a little bit. But Chaz is going to be back. His upper body injury has had enough time to heal, so he's practicing. Grant Cruikshank, not ready yet. He's still dealing with that lower body stuff. I don't even really think he's skating right now. They're just trying to rest that up. It's probably going to be a little bit longer. Ben Myers, as we said, is back to 100%.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. Yeah, because he was playing injured, nothing severe, but it did look like he kind of had his groove back this past weekend.
Yes, he was shooting the puck much better, handling the puck much better. I think things are feeling much better in that aspect.
Did you get to watch practice this week?
I did not get to watch practice this week.
Just kind of curious if he's keeping those, lines and defensive pairings he put together on Saturday or not.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a mystery this weekend. He was kind of coy about how he was going to handle the lineup because he's like, Lucius is a pretty solid player, so he's probably going to find his way back in the lineup somehow. And, they don't have a ton of options at defense, so we'll see what happens there.
Got a question from Facebook here, Viggs. If I can get the show. Oops, wrong way. Oh, wrong one. Sorry. Here we go. John Doherty. Big day with the NLI signings. Who's ready next year? And do we have room for all these kids? Well, we talked about the room. We think the defensive kids probably okay, but big day. We had a lot of kids sign over the past week.
Yeah, I think especially as we look at the forwards, I think this is kind of a sign that we won't be seeing guys play a fifth year. I think that was kind of a question whether or not some seniors are coming back. I think they've got 6 forwards signed now to the group here, or 5 forwards, maybe 6. I think that means there's going to be some churn. It's hard to know exactly who's going to be ready. Snuggerud had a great weekend with the US 18 team over in Switzerland. He had 2 hat tricks, played really well, but his game has kind of been up and down. So he was kind of a late bloomer who people were thinking, maybe like a mid-round pick of the NHL draft. Maybe now he's, coming up a little bit, maybe a second-round pick, or, if he keeps going like this, who knows? Cruz Lucius has done really well, but he's injured right now for the U.S. development program. So, his development could be staggered a little bit. One player who's really doing really well is Conor Kurth. He's lighting it up for Dubuque in the USHL. He's an older guy who was undrafted last year. I think probably because of the COVID season, he didn't get a lot of looks. The same thing with Luke Middlestat. I think people were a little unsure, what path those guys were on. But Conor Kurth has looked really good so far in the USHL.
Okay, the big question for me, Viggs, is, you mentioned the little older player. Are they getting older with this recruiting class?
Well, they're going to have a balance.
Okay.
Charlie Strobel, Garrett Pitomini, those guys are going to be 21 years old when they step on campus as freshmen. Kurth is a guy who's going to be a little bit older. He already passed through 1 year of his draft eligibility, so he's a little bit older. Okay. Guys like Snuggerud, obviously a young guy. Lucius, young guy. On defense, Chesley, he's kind of a younger guy. He's a draft eligible, but really talented, big shot, physical player. Probably maturity-wise, he's older than his birth age, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Middlestat's having a real good season in the USHL. He's an older guy now because he went through his draft eligibility last year. So, they still have a couple young players, but the majority of the class is experienced type guys.
Kurth will be the Nyes of 2022. We could always hope players will be the Nyes of any year because I like the Nyes.
Yeah. We'll see if his foot speed is there. I think that was the big surprise with Nyes, how well he moves on his feet. Nyes is really impressed with his skating right from the start. The first practice I saw this year, I saw him doing his stop and start transitions in the zone, battling for pucks. I was like, okay, this guy's going to be a special player. He knows what he's doing. He's not looping around. Kurth, we'll see if the foot speed is there. That is always kind of the risk with some of these players. Can they create at the higher level?
I've always liked the way that Myers protects the puck. If Nyes, with his size, could do something similar, and he's kind of doing a pretty good job. A lot of times he's doing a lot of stick handling, maybe not protecting the puck as much, but if Nyes is a kid that can protect the puck similar to Myers, boy, the sky is unlimited for him.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's also a skill that you have to develop a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
For a player like him, who's always been one of the biggest players on the ice, his reach is really what allows him to protect the puck a lot of times. He doesn't have to use his body to kind of put it in the way. Once he learns that skill, though, his ground game in the offensive zone is just going to go up and up. Because he looks really good in transition. He looks pretty comfortable in space, but just that creating, goals out of the run of play is something that'll be important for him as he develops.
All right, Vigs, let's head to this weekend. Penn State comes to town. Penn State started off okay. They beat North Dakota in Nashville. We're looking good. Hit the Big Ten and hit the brakes. It's been a rough go for the Nittany Lions starting off the season. And we're hoping it's a rough go for them this weekend and basically put them in the rearview mirror. Because you go 0-6 to start the season, Vigs, you're probably done. Quite honestly.
I mean, it's going to be difficult, I think, for a team like that to compete for the title. But I still think you'd have a chance at home ice, perhaps, if you can recover from it. But it would be very helpful for Minnesota to put 2 W's on the board this weekend and maybe, not have to have a trip to Happy Valley. You don't want to have a trip to Happy Valley that means something right now. There's a lot of demons there.
Let's get rid of those demons. Kill the demons.
You'd like to exercise those, wouldn't you?
Yes.
And
we were hoping to get it a couple years ago, and it just damn
COVID. I think Penn State plays a style that really hurt the Gophers in that end of the Lucia era and the start of the Motzko era. They're so aggressive. They're so in your face. It does kind of remind me of like North Dakota Light. So this is a good weekend, I think, for Minnesota to play a team like this. The schedule worked out well because Penn State plays aggressive all over the ice. They're going to be in your face. They're going to try to hit you. They're going to throw pucks at net, and they're going to try to create traffic. So I think it's good prep for that Black Friday game coming up to play a team like this. And I think a team like this could also be good for Jack LaFontaine too, because he's going to see a lot of shots.
Yep.
And they should be shots from the outside that he should get a good feel out of. And, I did see some of practice where they're working with the goalies about handling traffic and rebounds and finding pucks and covering the bottom of the net and staying, big with their chest. Those are important things when you play teams like Penn State, North Dakota. So it could be a wake-up weekend for them, too.
I would be glad if it was just a wake-up weekend, period. Winning both games, good 4-1, 5-2 scores. Let's get some Culvers going again, Vigs. Come on.
Culvers is definitely in play this weekend.
I hope so.
There's going to be enough offense available out there. I think the problem or the pitfall for the Gophers is getting into a run and gun game with Penn State when Minnesota doesn't really have to do that. If they can get some ground game going, they can kind of control the game a little bit easier. They just have to be wary about Penn State because they like to fly forwards out of the zone all the time. It's like beer league hockey sometimes with them. As soon as they think there's like a 50-50 transition opportunity, that high forward's going to start leaving the zone just a little bit. So Minnesota has to really be aware of that. It caught them a couple times, 2-3 years ago.
Like our boy Baccardio taking off.
Yeah, the difference is that Baccardio would get caught if the puck did actually get to him. Some of these forwards Penn State has are not going to be caught from behind once they get going. And they can finish.
Give me a prediction, Vigs.
I did go with the split last weekend, and I was correct. I even got the Knights right. I predicted a loss on Friday and a win on Saturday. I think this weekend, I think the overs are in play. Because I think the over-under is going to be around 5.5 or 6. I think we see lots of goals this weekend. I think we see a Gopher split. Sorry.
I'm kind of with you, Vigs, until they can prove to me that they can play the way they should be playing with all this talent and coming together. I would have to say, 4 points max.
Yeah,
And you know what? Gophers, make us eat our words.
I would love to see a couple 4-0 games. I'd love
Bingo.
to see,
5-0.
love to see a couple 4-0.
Couple Culver's games.
Couple 5-0 Culver's games. But I just think there's going to be enough goals out there where I don't know how it's going to work out for Minnesota. And I think a split is probably the expectation right now for me, even though at the start of the season, this was a clear sweep for me.
Okay, here's Jared Klein. Oops, sorry, I lost it there. Did I miss it? Or did John Middlestead not sign an NLI yet?
He has not signed. So that is a situation to watch. He turns 21 on October 1st. So I don't know if there's some sort of weird timing with USHL where he can play some junior, but I think he's going to age out. So I'll have to dig into my USHL overage rules because I know it's changed a couple times over the years, but
they didn't have any special COVID rules.
I don't know if they had any special COVID rules. So something to watch. And I do think the Gophers will probably need a goalie too. I don't think they can get Jack back for a 6 year.
No.
And with
Boynton's supposed to be the guy, I thought.
He is, but he hasn't practiced. He hasn't practiced enough to even really warrant getting playing time right now. So that's kind of a scary thing. Is he going to go a whole year without really playing?
Yeah,
that's
and
kind of a
and right
deal.
now, if let's say Jack had a bad game, somebody gets pulled middle of the game, it's going to be close.
It's going to be close.
I don't see Boynton. Yeah. But we'll see Boynton, USA under 18. No doubt we'll see him there. He'll get a period, probably the third. But like you said, he's been out. He had the surgery. He has some illness. Just some bad luck for the poor kid.
Yeah, bad luck for him. They do have a commit, Owen Bardo-Skiewicz. I haven't got the pronunciation yet. He's an option, but there's always the portal. Bob has often said that he's not a fan of the portal, except
until he's a fan of the portal.
Except he could see it be working for goalies. Because a goaltender, there's only one net, and it's worked for them getting Jack. And Jared's finding a net here in Wisconsin. Maybe the Gophers might need a portal goalie next year if they don't think one of their commits is ready. Because Peshora, who's the other commit, he's struggling to find a place to even play right now. So I think his, college hockey future is even in jeopardy. So we'll see what happens there. But, it's not real clear who that third goalie would be even yet.
You got anything else for us, Vigs?
Looking
Save
forward
it for
to this
overtime,
weekend.
maybe?
Yeah, looking forward to this weekend. I'm a little surprised that Bob hasn't brought out the stick a little bit more with some of his players and the discipline stuff. Walker takes those penalties on Friday night against Ohio State, and the Gophers get a power play chance, and he's right out there with the first unit. So, I've often heard that you don't ask like a guy who paints walls to do the frescoes at the cathedrals. You got to stick with your artists and coddle them a little bit, even though it's hard, I think, for the fans to deal with that. But, you need your talented players to find their game at some point. And Bob has been at this a long time. Yeah. And he has a little bit more patience than I do. And I think a lot of our listeners.
Exactly.
And, they're building this team for March. So I think if we see these same mistakes happen, the next 3 weeks here, this is a kind of a critical phase, I think, for this program to put themselves on a trajectory where they want to go. They need to play well these next 3 weekends. And it all will happen on Friday night with the start.
Let's get her done. All right, Vigs, that's going to do it for this week for the GPL podcast. We'll be back next week with Mr. Schlossman talking some North Dakota hockey. And then, it's almost break time. We're getting there. For those of you currently watching live, stay tuned for a little bit of overtime. For the rest of you, we'll see you next week. that opening there, Vigs. Love that opening. Here we go. Hold on. Here we go.
It's fresh hop season, everyone.
Beverage of the week. What do we got here, Vigs?
Castle Danger from Duluth. Mosaic IPA. Fresh hop. Probably one of the best fresh hops out there, I think. This was canned October 21st. So still pretty fresh. Less than a month old. And delicious.
Cheers. With my water.
Oh, so good.
It'll be a little different next week. I'm going to, day before Thanksgiving. I saw our guy, Big Mistake, posting this, but it's not really related to this series. Interested to see what you think about the holiday series for Minnesota and UND. Do you think it's working? Personally, I love it. Let's do it every, Thanksgiving weekend. But here's the difference. North Dakota fans will probably fill the place. If it was at Mariucci, North Dakota fans would probably fill the place.
Very much so. North Dakota travels. I think it's going to be fine. Any game you play North Dakota, you're not going to have trouble selling tickets. It's whether or not
you could sell
Minnesota fans make the effort. And,
Well, but we want to see these teams. We want to play North Dakota. Then when they come, they don't sell they don't buy the damn tickets.
Gotta put your priorities, I guess. But I do think it's working. I think it's good for TV. People are,
but is it really?
If you want to watch the game, you can choose to watch the game.
Yes,
it's going to be available. It might be challenging for some, but you'll be able to figure it out.
I was trolling the Gopher hockey, Facebook page. Everyone out there blaming this, blaming that. My standard response is pretty much 100% on North Dakota that these games are not on, like national or whatever TV. It's like some people just can't figure it out. They think it's 2005 and everything is the way it used to be. It's just different now, Vigs. And it's like, I want to bang these people in the head.
I don't really want to bang them on the head.
It's just frustrating. It's frustrating. It's like Minnesota's zero control over TV when it comes to North Dakota, Mankato, Duluth, St. Cloud. It's just the way it is now, folks. And if you want to see it, you can see it. If it's that important to you, nchc.tv, buy the game.
Product. It's a great product.
Watch it, stream it. It might be a little behind, whatever. Find a bar. I'm sure there's some bars that'll have it. Find a friend who's got Xfinity or Mediacom. Go up to Grand Forks and buy a ticket. Just shut the hell up. If you want to see the game, you could see it. It's just that simple.
I'm glad the Big Mistake will be there, though. Sorry that Jared will not.
Jared's the one who really hits up that board a lot, calling out the idiots.
Yeah,
on Facebook.
He's fighting the hard fight out there. Stand up for
because we know obviously the folks at the University of Minnesota can't respond and say the things we want to say. They want to say that.
Yeah, they would like to say some things, but you can't do all that stuff.
33 games live on TV. Never had that back in the WCHA days. Jared Klein, a.k.a. Bert IBM. Correct.
Right on the nose. And great streaming options. I'm happy with my Big Ten streaming. I got to rewatch Friday and Saturday's game again this week just because I wanted to really was I seeing what I was seeing? Should I be charting turnovers and missed shots?
Damn blurriness. Come on. There we go. I had to go back and see who hit me in the face of the puck. And I had to figure it was early in the Friday game. It was like 4 minutes in. Literally just flipped the puck in, and when you're on the glass there and he's up against the boards, it's not much of an angle. It just came up high, and I wasn't looking. Side of the face, right here. My bone. I'm still sore here.
I should have asked Rhett about that this week.
He wouldn't have known. He probably didn't even know it. Most people did. Because the funny thing is the puck went out of the screen. You couldn't quite see it. And then all of a sudden, a second later, you see the ref point as if he was going to come over and grab the puck from me.
Well, he could tell Jack. He could tell Jack. He's like, yeah, I shot Jupe in the face of the puck just for you.
The funny thing is,
well-spoken kid.
Wouldn't that be great to get Jack LaFontaine on this podcast? I think he would come on, too. Just to rip me, and that is just fine.
Yeah.
I don't know if they would let him know.
I don't think Bob would be too keen on it. I think Jack might do it, and I think Brian might let him do it, but I don't think Bob would. So.
Maybe an off-season thing. Or a next season thing. Try to bring him
maybe
back.
Next season thing.
The thing is, a lot of times the players we want to talk to, they're not going to do it during the season, or they won't be allowed to do it during the season. And then a lot of them still go on to keep playing hockey, AHL, ECHL, whatever they keep playing. It's like we can't just get them. Would we love to have, Wheeler on the podcast? Sure as hell would.
He's kind of busy.
Kind of busy.
Wonder what he would pull for overtime.
I don't know. I'm looking forward to Jack Ramsey. Kind of interesting.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull out a special beverage. We have Jack on.
Yeah, I got the schedule going. Schlossman next week, Ramsey. Then we take our winter break, not back till January 5th.
On my birthday.
January 5th, your birthday?
Birthday show.
Hey.
I mean, I want to spend my birthday with this crew. I do.
Oh, look at that, folks.
I do. I might have a glass of wine with dinner, but.
And then you've got another guest lined up again in January, don't you, Viggs?
Mm-hmm. I've got the Kinger, John King, creator of the hockey hair. He'll be on in January. He wanted to do the Michigan show, so after the
Michigan's here,
after the Michigan series,
or is it before Michigan?
I think maybe it's before.
I bring up my calendar.
You're the master of the spreadsheet with
it's not not even the spreadsheet. I'm just looking at the calendar. Excuse me.
He wanted to do something.
It is after the Michigan, before Notre Dame.
And he wanted that.
January 26th. Mote, he wasn't on OT last night or last week.
He wasn't even on camera.
Yeah.
He was in blackout witness protection program.
His camera wasn't working, and I suggested him, you could just click a link and do it on your iPhone or your Android. It doesn't matter. You could have done it. I think it added to the mystery of Hammy.
He likes being incognito.
But we only had Cardinal on and Hammy on for a short time during the show. Then we had Mazzocco on a little later. Zacco's on for a little bit of overtime. It's tough to have so many guests on at once. That's why we had Cardinal and Hammy just come on real quick, and then we can manage 2 guests. I wouldn't. It was just too many, I would say. Wouldn't you, Viggs?
It can be a bit challenging
because
even when we just have 4 people on the show, it can be really hard.
Yeah.
Like when we had Cappy and Frank kind of telling stories back and forth. Cappy was having a little bit of a time where he was left out. So.
Yeah, and that's the problem we had. I mean, we had Cappy and Molesky on our Big Ten show last year.
Mm-hmm.
But that's more of a general discussion, Thing is, I think Cappy works for overtime really well. So, but too many guests on at one time, it's tough. But with this new software, it's I could see Hammy and I could see Cardinal join the show. And I can bring him up, add him to the show. I said Frank actually was there about the same time they were, and he had to wait. So, but the software is pretty nice. So, saw Wally at Manning's after the game. Manning's? Really? Oh, Saturday. Yeah, I didn't. Did I go? I'm trying to remember. No, I didn't go Saturday last week, and I didn't go out Friday either. Oh well. What day did you go on this week, Viggs?
I think I'm going Friday.
I'm going Saturday.
I wanted to see if I could play Bob's audio where he calls out Jess Myers.
I don't know if you can. Can you send it to me?
I can try, but I feel like I've got it queued up.
Did you add it? I mean, how do
No,
you?
I'm just trying to see what I can do. I'm trying. Everyone, bear with me. I'm trying the new software, seeing what I can do.
It's about audio mixing and make sure it picks up more than just your microphone. And
It's share screen.
Can you share screen with audio?
Hold on. Bear with me. Next time I do this, it won't be so long.
Helmet wouldn't have worked last week, Brever. Unless I'm wearing a full shield. Hard to take photos when you got a full shield on. What's this button for? I don't really get what you're saying there.
Okay, I think this is working.
Oh, here we go. We got the share.
Got it.
I wonder if the audio will come through.
We'll see.
Oh, so that is your spoken word?
This is my spoken word.
That's a cool software program. Get a goalie.
You joked on your radio show that you get to kick the trash can 3 times a year. Which one did you use it up this year? And then what's the challenge going forward not to kick it again?
Well, first, it's not a joke. I mean, it's literally like you get 3, I think you get, the sole coach will say you get 3 times a year. If you do too many, you get, it was Wisconsin, we used 1. And you know, that's what I give our guys a lot of credit, is this last weekend it was them. Was, you know, black and white, here's a couple clips, can't do that, and they respond.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Can you find the Jess Myers one?
Uh-huh.
There we go. This is
Hold
solid.
on.
This is overtime stuff, guys. This is good shit. Yeah, can we go full screen even? Yeah.
So how do you challenge your team?
I mean, a lot of guys. I mean, our we like our guys. The ownership group comes, you know, starts with leadership. You know, and first, you know, Sammy and Benny and Jack and hey, a great example is Jack had a very uncharacteristic night, and then this guy wants me to pull him, and then he gets shut out the next day. I mean, like you did bring it up. I don't know that I advocated for it. You know, that's leadership, and he came back, you know, and just had a real good feel. Didn't let any, you know, didn't have many shots, but didn't have many the night before either.
Yeah.
Does that make that's leadership? Kind of going through the I think our D core that had kind of started the season a little loose, which that's one of the big things is they started loose or starting to tighten it up. And
So yeah, new technology for us to play with over the season now.
Oh, that's good.
But it's just it's comical, Bob and Jess going after each other. You know, it's like they're a little stir crazy.
Mote loves the productions off the charts. How about that, huh?
Fueled by Castle Danger on that one.
Yeah, Veeks found this software. He let me know, you know, other podcasters using it. We figured it out, and like, I love it. And like I said, we're streaming to 3 different places right now: Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. That's kind of neat. You go to Twitter and you can see our live broadcast right up. You know, in fact, you know, people, if you look, let me turn this off, but here, If you look down in this corner right down here, or wait, let's make sure I'm on screen there. Right down there, if you're on YouTube, subscribe to us. Subscribe to us. Let's get more subscribers. Every time we're on live, you'll be notified when we're live. So at least on YouTube. And the live thing on Twitter is great too now because it automatically puts it up there. Let me see here. Let me bring this up. Yeah, it's showing us live right there right now. Right within a tweet. We didn't have that technology before. It only had a link to the live YouTube, but now it's playing live within Twitter itself. So very cool stuff. Very cool stuff. And that software is great, Vigs. That's just that saves you. I mean, I'm guessing it doesn't get everything right, but it's close enough for you.
Yeah, it's close enough where, I have something to start with, and it helps me find the quotes like that I want to write about really quickly. You can just do a Control F and like say, where do you talk about Walker? And you can go there and it's like, yeah, Walker, bad penalties. Don't like seeing that out of our captain. And it's like you can just go through and edit it right there in the clip.
But does he do anything about it?
That's
if Walker
that's my
takes
big
another
question.
stupid penalty this weekend, sit him down a couple shifts or whatever.
I mean, I would not have the patience to keep seeing that and the missed shots and the turnovers. For being a captain 3-time, being a senior, you'd think he'd gone through that enough where it wouldn't be a problem week in and week out, but it still is. And if it keeps happening in February, is then it too late to even really do anything? So it's a big challenge.
We saw this same problem a couple years ago. We felt that some players just needed to maybe step back and watch the game from up top and maybe have a game off. And
I don't think you do that.
Well,
because that can be pretty stressful on everybody, not just him going out, but for the other players. Like, he's not even with us tonight.
But if a player's not learning, are you teaching?
Well, for me, it's take him off the power play, take him off penalty kill. Say, you know what? If we can't count on you to not take penalties, we're not going to put you on the penalty kill anymore because we can't count on you to be ready and available for that unit. And, if you keep taking them, we're going to take away the reward of power play time and points.
How about that power play?
I like the Myers unit. I think they're very together. Like they've got that stuff figured out. I think, the Myers power play unit, I was just going to pull up another clip here to share, to enjoy for maybe some people that didn't get to see everything.
At least shorthand strength.
But I thought the power play unit has looked really solid with this group at least. I think their entries have been good. I think they do a good job of attacking the net. I think they win pucks back a lot. Like you just see the compete there, lifting sticks, not taking penalties.
A little jittery on the goal. We're not seeing it quite as well, but
you just saw all the second efforts throughout that sequence. And I think if your power play is going to be effective, you need a group that can win second chances. Bob sometimes talks about it as like getting extra outs.
I'm surprised that wasn't a penalty right there, by the way, when number 2 went down.
What a great goal, though.
Backhand. I really expected Myers to be called there.
Well, the thing is, like, the guy basically is just falling down, like, pursuing the puck. It's not like there's a stick in there or a hand on there.
You know how it is, though.
Yeah, but I mean, like some of the stuff like Walker's getting called for, he's slashing down on top of the stick.
Mm-hmm.
He's, interfering with a guy who's not even involved with the play. So it's like you can't even really give him benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Or he's slashing a guy in the hands behind the play, or he's cross-checking somebody out of spite. That's stuff you can't do.
So we can, if you get me clips, I can load them right into this.
Okay.
They can only be up to 720p, which is fine. We're only broadcasting at that, but like we get muted when they play, but you can always unmute yourself. But like it's even got like I've got the ending video, first class mortgage in there. It's even got a temporary. It's got this countdown video. I mean, so I could put up videos on. I wonder if I can talk over it. Let's. Yeah, we can talk over it. So there you go.
The countdown.
Yeah. So, but we could put videos and then it'll play much smoothly or very smooth for this. So we have the capabilities. We can make it bigger, stronger, faster.
Bear with us as we learn.
I just literally. This is a full screen PNG with all that space, transparent. But it works, so it's kind of nice. And we got overlays, and we do this, put this over the top, fun stuff. You could even change the look of our names. We have a lot of high tech here, people. A lot of high tech. Not really. We're just having fun. Jupe's Nerd Show and Tell. We're just trying to put on a better show for you. And, even though I put up the questions, we still read the questions when they come up because obviously we're still an audio podcast. So that's one thing we do need to be careful of. Uh-oh. Biggs must be thinking about adding something else here.
Well, I was wondering how I can share something.
So what are you trying to share?
I wanted to share a picture.
Oh, a picture.
Which one do you do that?
Well, if you go over to the far right where it says brand, and you can actually add an overlay. That, you can see I've got click the UND one if you want. Oops. If you click the UND one, can you click the
gotcha.
If you see that,
I can add one.
And you can add one, and like I said, it's good if you kind of format it so it fits the screen. But I have a template for that. But if you add it and then you just click on it, and like literally, I just go show when I hover over it, it shows, and I can hide it by clicking it again. So that's what it does. Let me see, Twitter.
So we can show our incoming.
But here,
pipeline.
let me do this. I'll put it. Oh, I can't do that. Okay.
So I've got a spreadsheet where I track all the current roster players I'm thinking could be back next year.
Okay.
And then projecting in, commits that could play.
And you also could have just shared the screen that you had of this picture on your machine too. So. And then you can literally you just click it off and on.
All right. Well, now I know how to do that.
It's one reason why, I use the mouse for most things, but when it comes to the broadcast, I have one of these, and it's all activated by touch, so you don't hear me going click, 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 click.
Oh, do you hear me clicking?
I do hear you click, but it would be even more annoying if we were both clicking, and I was starting commercials and doing all this stuff. So I literally went to the touchpad. I could also open up my laptop, but I don't have the laptop open when we do this. It's just the big screen in front of me, so... You're doing it for the future Gopher fans. Have a good one, Jared. Sleep tight. And just like Mote said, Jupe's Nerd Show and Tell. Pretty much.
Yep.
We're just trying to have a better broadcast for you guys.
We're doing a good job.
And, it's easier to send... whoa. It's easier just to send one link. Uh-oh. Stick a fork in Vigs.
Private barrel.
Oh, boy.
For Rube. Just a little bit.
Yeah, but this software I love. I don't have to do as much anymore. I could just do some clicks here and there. I don't have to have GarageBand open. I don't have to have other programs open. The browser, another browser window that shows our broadcast. It's all right here. Somebody tweeted it. I think it was actually, it was a message, I think. Oh, big mistakes. He's really praising our show. He hasn't been around. Said he hasn't been around in a while because he hasn't seen the kind of new format. It's my first back in a while, and I was really confused when I could not find you on Mixlr.
We've moved on.
We haven't been on Mixlr in a while.
Obviously, we didn't promote it enough on social.
Or he just wasn't paying attention because we didn't use Mixlr last year either.
No. It's all right. It can be frustrating.
Yeah, we moved to Zoom. We moved to Zoom last year. Kind of an in between.
Did you block him? Did you block him? You get a little block happy time to time.
I didn't block him.
Okay.
I don't think no. Nerding out. Mote, got to get some Call of Duty in. Never played it.
I played a little bit, and then I had kids, and I was like, I don't know if I want to show my kids me playing a first-person shooter right now, so
I'll
hold off for a little bit.
I don't have one of those gaming systems. I just never. We had the Wii systems for the kids. They like that. I like Mario Kart. I like some of the Mario games, but I never got into the high end like Madden football and things like that. I was
always into Madden, FIFA, NHL, Tiger Woods. Like I'd have to NCAA football. Like probably every 4 years, I'd recycle and purchase all 5 titles again.
I did have Tiger. I still do have Tiger Woods for the Wii, and that's not easy. It really wasn't because you're literally But it was old. It was quite a few years ago. You literally have
to swing. Yeah,
you had to swing. I think it was before I moved. I think I had this, so that was at least 2009 or 10. And boy, it was not like Wii Golf.
a
little bit of twist in your wrist, you're screwed. Like the real golf.
Yeah,
course.
I'm in the University of Minnesota Golf Club, and at our club championship, we like to have a keg of beer on hand for people to commiserate together after their rounds and talk about how difficult the course was and how they didn't make any putts and how the greens were kind of bumpy and didn't get any good lies and I'm only one shot out of the lead, stuff like that. And I was once talking to a guy after a couple solo cups of probably Northeast or Summit, one of the two. We usually got like a macro local and a micro local, and he goes, I got the Tiger Woods Golf with the motion controller. It has helped my game so much more. I can actually now know how to hit a draw and a fade because the motion of the controller was enough for him to actually figure it out. Because you don't have to make great impact, true impact with the club. You just have to get the motion going the right way. And he's like, once I figured that out, it all just translated to the game. And the guy's like a 5 handicap. He's a pretty good golfer. But I was like, yep. The Wii controller coming together, making it happen.
So it was really on the Wii as well?
I think so.
That original motion.
Well, and he got the special golf club
Oh, you could drop it in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I don't think I've touched the Wii since I moved here in 2018. I really should though, because I still enjoy Mario Kart. I still
does
think
Oculus have golf, Trevor? Try it on Oculus.
Yeah, try it on Oculus. I would love to try those Star Wars ones on Oculus.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Obviously, Gen X, Star Wars, lightsabers. Come on,
force control.
Yeah, I don't know. I have the last system I have is the Wii U, and it just sits there. I don't know. Jeez, Brent. I use the football game. It's cool. I take
My
it
son is.
I take it those Oculus have a similar kind of hand controller that all the other games have.
Yeah,
or
I
something
think
like
that you got two things in your hands, and then
Okay.
that's it.
Okay.
My son is really into Formula One racing. I have no idea.
You mean
why.
the sport or the game?
The sport?
Okay.
He is really into like Formula One racing. Like he's
And
really
that's
into
specific. That's not Indy. That's Formula One European type of stuff.
right. Yeah, like he's like he wants to watch like the practice runs, the qualifying, the sprint races. Like he knows all the drivers. Like he started drawing like his own like course designs and stuff, talking about like the DRS zones and the speed trap and the DRS
Oh, my
detectors and corner cut penalties. Like he's starting to figure it all out. And I know very little about Formula One racing.
How old
other
is
than-
he? 9?
He's 9. But he also will go through the game notes and point out typos to me to tell Brian Deutsch. Which
It's
is
not
fun.
Deutsch. Tactically we can blame Rob Shield on that, because since he is the official scorer.
No, but like the game notes.
The game
if there's-
notes. Okay.
Like if there's a typo, or like if someone's birthday is wrong, or like if the numbers don't match up. Like this guy scored in these games, but he's only got 4 for his total here. I don't think that's right. Or like sometimes like the exhibition stats would be counting, or the minutes played wouldn't add up right, and he would like find all these little details and like, okay, Henrik,
Does he have his own phone yet?
No, not until he's 18.
Does he have email or anything like that yet?
He does, but he can't.
Maybe you should have him email Deutsch directly.
Yeah, he can't send email just yet. He can
Okay.
receive emails, but he can't send them yet. So it's pretty funny.
Because that's all Deutsch he needs is.
A 9-year-old sending him emails with typos.
Oh boy, we get a crack out of it. I don't know if Deutsch would.
I think he thought it was funny the first couple times. And
When you
helpful.
texted, did you just text him saying, "My kid says this"?
Yep, that's
Or better
basically-
yet, you know what? You know what would really annoy him? Send an audio message with your kid
That's
doing
going to
that.
annoy me just as much. Who sends audio texts?
I did the other day because literally I was getting out of the car. I'm like, I don't want to type all this up. I'll just send an audio message to both you and Deutsch at the same time. And now he says he hates it. That was a dumb thing to say.
I'm not a big fan either. If you send me an audio text, I may not listen to it. So you can put anything you want in there. It's not getting heard. Like seriously, kids don't listen to that stuff. They want to read everything, I think. Right?
You'd be surprised.
Yeah.
I have a friend that does a lot of those messages. But they don't want to they didn't want to type it out. Whereas a lot of times I will just, since I've got a Mac, and an iPhone, I just type it out on my computer and send a message that way.
Yeah.
Whatever. Nerds. I'm a nerd. I'll admit it. I don't care.
I miss anything from Twitter today that we should have talked about?
I don't know.
Big Shoots, by the way, has the letter Kenny guy kicking the trash can. If you look for your mentions, there's that guy coming through the locker room door kicking the trash can.
Yeah. Who is that?
That's the coach in Letterkenny. Like Letterkenny's like this small town Canada, like with just a bunch of people who like to drink, and then there's like these couple like hockey players that they follow.
Big Shoots. Oh, Herbert Gronick. I haven't seen that name in a while.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was him.
So this is the coach coming in, kicking the trash can. So I kind of wonder if Bob watches this show. It's kind of like, yeah, you know.
Hey, that's a better gift than what Jack Ramsey did.
Yeah, Jack.
The one where he's puking over the jerseys. I'm like, folks, it wasn't about their jerseys. It was about their school being right on top of things and selling a jersey as it's being introduced. And then, somebody was Jenny from the block was posting, hey, look what I found on when I search Gopher hockey jersey on whatever. Those are some bad replicas.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
Shields
not paying
has a lot of Gopher stuff. But
yeah, the one you showed, you sent us or you tweeted out, that is a terrible white jersey.
I mean,
No,
it's what they have.
It's available. I'm just saying it's an awful one. Any word on the St. Thomas exhibition? We haven't really heard much of it, have we?
Some people in hockey office think that they can just do this like the week of.
What?
Like to just be like, oh yeah, we'll just play here. We don't even need to sell tickets or anything. But why even do it? So stay tuned. It'll be interesting to see how that works out. Hockey question. There we go.
Well, they're already saying our boy in Wisconsin's already in the hot seat.
He should be. Granado?
Yeah, but
he should be in the hot seat.
They've both won the same amount of titles in the same period of time.
Hard to win a national title. Title, I don't think a national title is a fair measuring stick. Doug Woog never won a national title. He was a very good hockey coach. For many years, the program was in good hands. You got rid of him when he started not getting home ice.
Yeah, they got rid of him then because, his first – how many years in a row he was either first or second in the league.
Right.
It was
which
an
a lot of people
that's
would
an
say
amazing
harder.
run.
Some people would say it's harder to win a regular season title than it is a national title.
And, just look in 2003 when they won. Didn't they finish third that year in the league?
Yeah. I mean, look at the first year that Duluth won the national title. Like, they barely made the tournament.
By .001
right.
over Minnesota when all 64 things went wrong.
It was not a good hockey team during the year, but they figured it out at the end. So, I think Granado on the hot seat because he has not learned how to construct a roster for Division I hockey in the modern era.
And he really needed to do more in the playoffs last year. They had a great team. They just fell apart.
Well, if he had that happening year in and year out, the seat would not be hot. But he just put all his eggs in that 1 year and said, this is the year that we're going to do something.
And you've been talking about the recruiting for a long time. So many people, so many recruits.
Right. I just got to imagine the rep for Wisconsin out there with hockey advisors has got to be like, if you really want to go there, okay, you'll go there and you'll probably be able to play and develop and stuff. But just understand how that place works. If your junior hockey career doesn't go the way you and Tony expect, you probably won't have a spot to play. And you might end up at Bentley or Niagara or Ferris State or something, Or Grant Cruikshank, go out to CC and spend a bunch of money on that education and then transfer to Minnesota. So
I would really push the lifestyle. The fact, how many times does Minnesota take a bus to a game?
Right.
Mankato, St. Cloud, Duluth, yeah. 2 hour drive.
Well, we talked about that with Cappy and OT last week.
Yeah. How would you like to be able to take a plane to all your league games? Cappy didn't have that. Minnesota didn't have that back then.
No. Big Ten money.
Yep, so. They got to push that. Great facilities.
That's what Scott Bell really pushed. I mean, Scott is a very different recruiter than Bob, obviously. He doesn't even really want to talk about the current class of recruits who just signed NLIs. Like they signed all their NLIs last week, and Bob didn't really want to talk about it this week.
Yeah.
So it's weird.
Brewer says Mo wanted to stay in the Big Ten for that reason. Travel. And Brewer would know. It's like his neighbor. Yeah, but they've always been kind of weird on the NLIs. It's like they wait until they can get something. They wait until they can bug Deutsch to write a PR in just about every one of them. And
Deutsch writes them all up anyway, just in case all of a sudden on Friday at 5 o'clock, Bob says, "Hey, tweet it out." What? You know? It's like, yeah, we got a scout in town tonight. We want to hype.
Yeah, because I'm guessing, like you said in the past, a lot of stuff used to get faxed in. You had to make sure kids were at home, and they had to make sure the parents signed it. That's pretty much happened, hasn't it? That's pretty much happened. The parents have signed. They probably have everything in hand, don't they?
Everything's probably in hand now. So if they wanted to announce something, they could, but they're not. Like you see, all the other schools are announcing their players by now. Well, at the coaches' talk on Friday or Saturday, whichever night it was, the paperwork probably had not been done yet for all of their players. Like, especially with Chesley and Snuggerud, they didn't sign their stuff until they got back from Switzerland. So, like, the class wasn't full. But I think some of those other players, that stuff should have been done at least by Monday.
I'm still worried about lack of depth on the D. A couple injuries, only 8 guys concerned about it. Are they doing some weird practicing with an extra guy? Or are they putting Schmidt back there? What are they doing, V's? You have a smile on your face.
They did that last year. They put Schmidt back there on D. And, if they get into a situation where they have to practice with 4 guys for like a full week and make a decision on Friday, they're going to have to prep for something more. But I think all the injuries they have right now are all kind of minor things that people can play through. So they're not worried. Like the thing that Cruikshank has and the thing that Lucius had, those aren't things that they wanted to play through. They wanted to go through the time it took to heal and come back. It wasn't something they could play through like a soft tissue thing. So,
yeah. How's the whiskey, Viggs?
It's excellent. It's a little tannic, like a lot of barrel notes. So very oaky, but it's a barrel proof bourbon. So
I'm not much on the smoky ones.
Yeah, this isn't smoky.
That's good. Smoky.
It's oaky, which sounds like smoky, but it's very different.
It's the smoky ones. I just don't like that flavor.
Like it's got enough tannins to like pucker the cheeks and like.
Well, a lot of them
let you know you're. But no burn or anything. Lots of lipids to protect the esophagus. I do a whiskey tasting StreamYard other nights of the week, so not yet. Should have.
Hey, we got this account.
Got this account. We can
rebrand whenever we want to.
Yep, I'll send out samples to people who sign up, and we'll do an exclusive tasting.
I mean, there's the post game rebrand right there. I mean, I could just like bring our names up.
GPL whiskey tasting.
It's in gold and different colors,
fonts. Ooh, different fonts.
Stuff. I mean, I could save different comments. So let's go back to the other one there. Back to normal. So you do a lot of fun stuff. Yeah, they could save whole themes and change it, which is nice. Oh, that was a question way earlier. Hold on. No, wait.
No, that was
one. We didn't. Someone else did that during the show. I'm sorry.
We didn't answer it. I don't think.
There was a lot.
I think that's why Steve is getting back to it.
Do
you want my professional opinion before you go, or do you want to go first?
To be honest, I haven't noticed him all that much. I see him out there, but I haven't noticed him all that much.
I think of the guys on the Walker power play unit, he is actually one of the guys that seems like he has the best feel for creating plays.
Jess Myers is in love with him.
I'm not in love with him. I think he's got a good feel hockey IQ for those situations. What I think is missing for him is making impacts by winning puck battles and creating scoring chances. Like, I just don't see that out of him consistently enough, whether that's just like the roll of the dice that he's just not getting many of those battles. Could be, but I think that's unlikely. You know, you notice players like Nyes and Myers and Nelson and Huglin who are consistently engaging puck battles and winning them and creating possession. You just don't see that with him very much. I thought he looked pretty good when he played with Huglin for a little bit on some rushes, but that's rushes. That's very different, and you only get like a couple of those a game if you're lucky. That's not going to be who you are as a player long term. Like, you have to figure out another way to make an impact. And some of these guys coming out of the USHL, like, they're just rush players. Like, that's where all their offense comes from, is making plays on the rush, and that doesn't work in college hockey. So that's what I think.
Right,
he's young.
It's just every game I go downstairs and Jess is like, "Oh, JC bros, I really notice him out there." I'm like,
it's because you're watching him in an ISO cam every shift, you know? It's like there's a lot of other stuff going on. Like, I know a lot of scouts when they, like, even when they go to watch, like, a specific player, like, they don't think that way. Like, they have their notebook open and they have their, you know, sheet of numbers, and they're putting pluses and minuses to players, basically saying, where did this player make an impact? You know, how many times did they impact the game? And you just see that if you watch the game kind of in total. If you're trying to, like, say, okay, this other scout says that this player is this, and you want to kind of confirm that, like, you just might focus on one player all the time and do that with them. But that's a very different perspective of scouting. It's looking at one player versus, like, when do they pop out? This Bros, I don't think, is popping out as much. Like, I thought when he was playing with Huglin, maybe he was more comfortable, you know, making plays, but
who knows? I just like to
Jess
give Jess grief.
We love to give Jess grief. I mean, I really think
it's going to be soon. When are you going to get me on the podcast again?
We should get him on, and we should open with all the Bob Jess conflict audio clips as, like, the open for that show.
I've got video clips of them.
I know, but I think if we get Jess on, we're just going to have to do that, and that'll be a discussion topic. It'd be funny, right?
I don't think I could play the audio. I don't think I have my audio set up properly. Maybe I can.
I don't know. When I share screen and share something, I can do audio.
Let me see here. Where did I save that?
Did you see on?
Okay, I did. Oh, jeez. I did do this a couple weeks ago. Let me see if I can get that to play. Wait, let's bring it up first. Oh, jeez. I wonder if it'll let me share this, because I had a little fun with some audio and video a couple weeks ago. Share screen.
We'll get better at this eventually.
Share tab audio. Okay, let's see if this works.
Tied at 2. Here we go.
Heard the audio on that one.
Oh, you did hear the audio.
Laser blast with Frank. Here we go. Danny Ehrman penalty shot, except no, that's not Danny Ehrman. It's Tyler Hirsch.
Okay, now there is a version of that from Fox out there.
Of the Hirsch goal? Or the Hirsch...
There is a version of that goal that, because Fox has video of it, it was just never public. And I know a few people have been in the truck and have seen this compilation where they took the video that Fox had of Tyler Hirsch with the Mccomb audio, put it together. So it was much more professional. That video is from the original. Yes. God, I wonder why I could not hear
Chris
that.
have that? Old producer Chris?
No. I don't think anyone has it anymore.
Okay.
Let me see if I can add an audio feed here so I can hear that. There we go. That's better. Fun stuff. But I've got some other fun stuff. And like you were talking about Jess Myers. Let me bring up the channel here. Oh, boy. I'm surprised the audio came through. I just didn't have my computer set up right, so I couldn't hear it myself. So I'm like, can you hear this? Can you hear this? Okay, here we go. Let's bring this one up.
I wish there was one less mistake.
Okay, we'll pause it there. Share it. Come on, mouse. Where are you? There we go. So what we've got here is we've got the original Are You Crazy? From old okay, let me see if I can do this. There we go. Yeah.
I wish there was one less mistake tonight that we weren't talking about right now.
Can you give us anything on Walker injury, disciplinary, anything like that? Just curious.
You're crazy. I mean,
Are you crazy?
I wish there was one less
I
mistake.
don't need to play it again. I hope you heard that, Viggs. Could you hear that one?
I can hear that one.
Oh wait, no, I can't hear you. Hold on a second.
Now we get a weird echo, but
Are you? How about now?
now it's fine.
Okay, I had a weird thing going there. So over under. Here we go. Over under.
I mean, War Road 3.5.
I don't know. I don't know.
Setting it 3.5. War Road references.
Okay, we're all good there. All right, Viggs. You should probably call it a night, huh?
Probably call it. I'm actually going in the office tomorrow.
What's that?
I know, right? It'll be interesting.
I have not met a majority of my coworkers, so in person.
Yeah, it'll be
It's the way
interesting
the world
to be
is
back
now.
on campus. Yeah.
I do miss interaction with people. I wouldn't mind it once in a while. I mean, videos or Zooms and stuff, that's fine, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't like to commute every day, though, for me.
Commute for you to 3M would be rough. That would be a long one.
I think it was 47 miles. Or 40. It was something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would not like that.
That would not go well. All right.
It would not. Okay, folks. Thanks
Take
for
care.
sticking with us for overtime. We'll be back next week. We got Schlossman on next week.
We'll keep
Always a
messing
good
with
guest.
our multimedia.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, folks. Later.